The United States government is shut down. There was no last minute deal. Now, because of this, BTC and the alts are doing something different. Yeah, BTC is gaining while the alts are sliding, even though we're all green. Just means BTC is more green. We've got big news for the Ripple ecosystem. Players out there are still buying. We'll talk institutional money. XRP price along with HBAR, a weak last fourth quarter. Yeah, we gotta talk.
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
The heat map's green, but the government shut down. That's right. Not only did the government shut down, but BTC gained on the alts. This is now the lowest we've seen the altcoin season index in nearly a month. Government shutdown means what? BTC store value, but we're all in the green, so we're going to take it as a sign of happiness. Now, why are we in the green? Because we all expected the government shutdown. So no one was really freaked out by this move. We'll talk about that and more, but first, your comments. Why? Because you, the viewer, matter most. David Austin says, Klaus, I love your channel. I learned a lot from you and respect your opinions and what you have to say. But with the XRP, it's one thing after another. It's nice to know I'm not the only one discouraged right now. It's not that XRP is doing anything bad. XRP is doing good. The bad is all the hopium out there creating unrealistic expectations. Every freaking Friday, you're like, oh, bro, all these players are telling us 10,000. eGrad Crypto is saying, oh, we're going to go to Valhalla and get to $1 million by the end of the year. Like, it's the expectations. The reality is XRP is performing very, very well. If you look at XRP over the last year, yeah, we're still up 366%. We still got a heck of a strong floor support being built right here. And we still got regs, ETFs, and rate cuts coming up. So no, I'm not down on XRP. No, I'm not down on HBAR like this article is saying. I'm just down on the government. But it did bring us some green up on the screen. Yeah, inverse Kramer action. Mr. Fantastic DW says, watching this video at 4:45, wonder how that vote went. The vote didn't go good, and there was no last minute second deal. Yeah, we shutting down. And because I was waiting to see if the government was going to shut down, I was playing some Tarkov last night. If it makes you feel any better, I had to wait over 9 minutes just for rounds to start. Yeah, 9 minutes in the queue. Bitcoin, 116,434, up 3%. ETH, 4282. XRP, up almost 3% as well to 293. The market was like, look, we knew the government shutdown was happening, but here's the deal. If this delay gets worse, if they move further apart, market's going to go more red. If all of a sudden we get some resolution, we're going to go into the green, because that means then we go start talking about regs. We start talking about rate cuts. But for now, fake out from the market. Be very careful, everyone. As I said earlier, the altcoin season index now has slid to 56 out of 100. We were doing way, way better for a while. We were all the way up to 78 on the 19th of September, but October 1st has brought us 22 points in decline. In fact, if you go to the altcoin season index, you can see the closer we got to shutdown, the more altcoins slid. So yes, altcoins and the rest of the market is green, but BTC is beating them more over the last 90 days. Over the last 90 days, look at BTC, up 7%. Gala, Jasmine, Adam, a whole bunch of them are under that 90-day mark. Let's keep learning. Why the U.S. government is shut down and what happens now. Government shut down because it just doesn't work. Players on both sides of the aisle want to play chicken with our money. Although budget confrontations are common in U.S. politics, this spending fight is especially tense because Trump has spent the last 9 months drastically cutting the size of the government. And remember, the Republicans ran on the idea that they weren't going to, what everyone, increase debt. We're increasing debt to get this going. We have to kick the can down the road, plain and simple. So now what do? The Republicans control both chambers of Congress, but in the Senate, they are short of the 60 votes needed to pass the bill. Opposition Democrats have some leverage. Both sides have been in a bitter standoff over healthcare spending, and the Democrats have refused to back a Republican bill that they say will make it harder for Americans to afford healthcare. Healthcare is insanely expensive as it is. Just for shits and grins, I went on the government marketplace. For two people to get insurance, it's over $1,100 a month, and that's for the shittiest program out there. So there's concerns with insurance. Now, that hasn't stopped bigs out there from buying. Bigs are always going to buy, and we're going to talk about that. Metaplanet. buys 5,268 BTC to become the 4th largest holder. Now, if you want to learn about this and everything else in the video, it's all linked in the description below. They now have 30,800 BTC. They bought 632 million worth weeks ago, and now they're buying even more. Well, they bought 118,000 per coin on BTC, so they're in the red, but they're not worried about that. That's what I said. The bigs are going to keep buying. Speaking of, look, institutional inflows 2 days in a row with both BTC and ETH. So you're seeing that happen. Volume 184 billion, so very healthy in volume. So the market right now is going, look, we know you shut down, but you're not going to stage shut down. So you only can play chicken so long. And the crypto market is like, look, we got more bullish things ahead than government shutdowns. ETFs, way more bullish than shutdowns. Regs, way more bullish than shutdowns. Rate cuts, Jerome's kind of a fuddy-duddy, so he hasn't been helping us out on that front. But for real, the market is thinking more optimism. Now listen to this negativity. I gotta be honest with you. There's been a lot of negativity thrown around HBAR recently, and I think it's the bigs out there trying to get you to sell so they could get in. Because listen to this. HBAR's weak October start hints at a slump towards 3-month lows. We just started October. It's 9:02 a.m. We haven't even had a half day into the market yet, and they're already like, well, HBAR fans, you got to get ready. It's not looking good. Prepare for lower lows. Dude, this is the first day, so you can tell there's some definitely FUD being printed out there with HBAR. Swinging on over to HBAR, price up 23% in volume to $312 million. Again, you're starting to see that floor develop right here for HBAR north of 20 cents, more like 21.5 cents, which is good. And I get it. Oh, we have a weak first day. Yo, it's not even a full day, and y'all are talking about HBAR negatively. I think HBAR has a lot of upside. It just needs something to push it across the finish line. It's got some big ETFs that are going to be due later in this year, spot ETFs, the juicy ones, which should help propel it as well. But the negativity, I mean, come on, the month just started. Ripple's longtime CEO and XP architect David Schwartz is stepping back by the end of the year. Okay, I'm going to give you guys some info on this. So, David Schwartz, if you haven't heard, announced his retirement as CTO from Ripple by the end of this year. He's going to be joining their board. He's also going to be more into XRP and XRPL, which is good because think about it. His role with Ripple wasn't really big with XRPL. What has Ripple been developing mostly around lately? Stablecoins and custody. And David's sitting here with plenty of money. The dude's been doing this long enough. He's like, no, my real passion is XRP. He just built a mega rig lately with a 9950X chip, a Ryzen 9. Yeah, a legit graphics card, some big SSDs, and is now working on XRPL. He said, look, this is where my passions are right now, and I like that. I've got his statement right here if you want to read it. Brad came back and said, the smartest and funniest person I know, a true OG in crypto with the conviction and vision to see what others couldn't. You are a legend. Thank you, David, for everything you've done for the industry, for Ripple and the XP Ledger. We are all forever grateful and in awe of your immense impact. I'm not taking our weekly check-ins off the calendar, though, and glad you won't be as far as you join the Ripple board, continuing to impact your deep wisdom and guidance. Wait, does this mean you're my boss now? Yeah, buddy. So David joins the board in order to help expand XRP, XRPL. This is good because that means what is his focus going to be? Not on RLUSD, not on Ripple payments using things other than XRP. No, XRP, XRPL with a little bit of boardroom action. Now, overall in the crypto market, like I said, the volume is healthy. Fear and greed, we're at 42, so we're a little bit neutral, close to the fear point right here. And the market is just going to chill out and hold sideways. I do not expect XRP to break the $3 mark, and I do not expect anything big to happen until we get confirmation that the government shutdown is over. We're going to stay range bound. So, XRP specific, yeah, it's nice to see a little bump up right here, but again, we're not going to go past $3 until we get some actual juice from the government. XRP's volume, speaking of juice, up 27% to 6.3 billion. Now, the reason I'm bringing up the volume is this. XRP has tons of ETFs coming in. Tons of them. Institutional money flowing in. We just got to wait for them. There's a fleet of them. A lot of volume. HBAR has ETFs volume on HBAR 312 million, volume on XRP 6.8 billion. So there's obviously a bigger demand, almost a 20x bigger demand for XRP right now, and institutions like to gobble up XRP as well. So once those ETFs come into play, we should be really, really well off. But think about that. The volume at 6.3 billion is telling us what? There's a lot of interest out there. Players just need to find the right products with protection, maybe the right products with low fees. That Rex Osprey one was a big nothing burger because the fees were crazy. These future ETFs with XRP that are going to be launched are going to have way lower fees and through people that more players trust. So XRP, like I said, we're going to be range bound here. We're under that $3 mark. Gonna wait to see what happens with the government. Gonna see what happens with Jerome Powell. Because remember, we're gonna have CPI and the Fed coming up here in a couple weeks. ETFs regs, that's coming up next. Just gotta wait for the boys and gals in the government to get over it. White House, come on. Stop kicking the can down the road. HBAR, you got a little negativity, but I'm not worried. HBAR, weak October start. Dude, it's 9 in the morning. We didn't even really start the month yet. So we all pretty much knew that the government was going to shut down yesterday when we saw the vote didn't go so well. And then as we got closer to the deadline, there was no sweetheart deal, no last second amazingness from the government losers out there. So the crypto market was like, okay, cool. We're going to shut down and we're going to go up a little bit in price because we know you guys are going to eventually get this thing resolved. And we know eventually we're going to get to the good juicy news with ETFs and regs. The thing is this, though. How much better would crypto have been if we didn't have this BS shutdown? How much better would crypto have been if we would have gotten regs on time when we were promised? Remember, we were supposed to get them in July, and Garmin's telling me it's October 1st, so over-promising and under-delivering. Now, that being said, the bigs are still buying. They're still buying their BTC. They're still buying their ETH. I just showed you we had institutional inflows, big ones for the last several days now. So even the institutions are like, look, it's an inconvenience that these Tardo McRardos from the United States are screwing up, but we're going to keep on moving forward. And I think that's what's going to happen with XRP. And with David Schwartz leaving Ripple, who really hasn't done much with XRP, I think David Schwartz working on XRP directly is going to be a good thing for the XRP holders out there. Yeah, think about that. Everything Ripple done is lately has been RLUSD this, custody that, RLUSD this, settlement for this with RLUSD. Maybe David's going to come up with something juicy for XRP. Now I'm going to keep you up to date with the shutdowns, price action, ETFs, regs, and more. So hit that subscribe button, notification bell so you don't miss out. Choo-choo what? Yo, the sign says it behind me. Choo-choo bitches.